Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me here on this spontaneous live transmission. I just wanted to come on here and share a few messages, particularly something that was showing up in the astral realm a few nights ago. I know I didn't post yesterday, which was let's say, statistical anomaly from what is normal, foreseeable within this timeline. Yeah, I feel like many of us are being called to shake up the algorithm within our own life experiences and embody or streamline a parallel version of self inside of our local timeline. And I'm seeing a new space begin to emerge and reflect your own internal vibrational frequency or resonance. And a new realm of possibilities is opening and expanding and responding to your internal field that is shifting. And I'm seeing some kind of recalibration happening when it comes to the architecture of not just your inner world, but also external reality beginning to mirror and reflect that. So I want to share with you some messages. Hello, everybody. One thing that was coming up was 369 today, actually. And 369 is it symbolizes basically inspiration, but also something that you're nurturing into reality. And I see this as releasing or sharing something that is being fulfilled when it comes to your life's purpose, when it comes to the soul's, I'm seeing pure purpose of just being, of pure experiential participation within the third dimension. And the thing is, as we elevate our vibration, which really happens as soon as we elevate the way that we're thinking and feeling towards our life experiences and also our own human vessel, and remembering ourselves as divine beings that are granted this beautiful ego, this beautiful finely tuned instrument that has been curated to assist and support the soul's expansion that is happening in the etheric realms as you transverse your physical experiences. And so, yeah, what I see is a completion happening, some kind of spiritual growth, and you closing out one cycle before a new one can begin. I'm actually seeing a new cycle begin to emerge within you. So it's entire dimensions of your being that are finally able to be expressed simply because you're harnessing safety into the body in a way where the soul feels safe enough to play again and experience the totality of what space-time has in store for you. So we're going to do a reading on this, but I do want to share with you some of the astral notes that came up in this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a pre-record on this or if I'm just going to leave this flowing. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Give me a minute. Let me just check this real quick on my YouTube studio real quick. Da, 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 da. Where are we? There we go. Okay. How are you guys feeling today? Let me know. Where are we? Where's the stream? There we go. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so the first thing I saw in the astral, and when we break this down and also pull up some notes, was I was witnessing some kind of beauty of what emerges from you, okay? What form your soul takes in its many manifestations in the physical realm. I'm kind of seeing it not as fractalizations, it's more about extensions of you. Okay, so things that you create in the system that are an extension of you. I'm hearing they're a product of your soul's creation. It's how I'm seeing you as like a factory or an engine, some kind of container in which things are manufactured through you. I just want to say higher intelligence or consciousness streamlines through you and manifest in the physical field, okay, manifest into physical form. Even I'm hearing the impact that your frequency has on physical form in the way that the universe streamlines through you as a conduit. And that, how do I say it? Like higher intelligence is compressed, that infinite nature is compressed and creates a very specific geometric imprint, energetic imprint, and is expressed through your unique frequency. It's like the universe filtered through your unique frequency. Okay, that's what I was seeing. So witnessing some kind of beauty emerge from you or through you, okay, or some kind of form that you're embodying. So I'm going to pull a message on this. Just want to see how everyone's doing. Again, seen this before, June 21. I'm having premonitions of a reverse Big Bang occurring due to man messing with things they're unaware of. Yeah, a spiritual stoic. I would say that's very much linked to 𝓻, which I will do a pre-record on soon. You know, 𝓻 was essentially attempting to recreate the same, let's just say, elemental factors or conditions of the initial Big Bang. And so there were many of these, let's say, miniature events, but that's part of the ending of an old cycle and the beginning of a new. That's also happening within you in your own internal universe, where you're now operating by new physical laws. I've been deep in a cave, a lot of remembrance ever since I came back from my vacation. Love to hear that. Be off for everyone. Yeah. All right, let's see. I want to take a look at what's streamlining. Cosmic network. So literally, it's not, okay, I've got a message coming out on this soon, and I'm not going to do this live too long today because I still need to edit for this message to come out today. And I literally spoke about the South Node in Leo and the North Node in Aquarius, which is going to be taking place on July 26th. So literally in 10 days, we have like a 10-day countdown from if you're seeing this on the day that this message departs and is sent out into the quantum field. Cosmic network talks about the engine of creation is the keyword that's coming through, but it's not that, it's the morphic field. So it talks about higher intelligence, or the morphic field is essentially the instruction manual, it's holographic DNA that holds the memory of everything in existence before it even manifests into form. And so we're always streamlining from this hidden wellspring of knowledge and anchoring in that information, anchoring in like this is the realm of divine inspiration, okay? And then if we choose to act on that divine inspiration to bring it into form, that's the message that's coming through. So I'll go ahead and read it. It talks about beings like Nikola Tesla, Dalai Lama, Carl Jung, where this is a field of potential that's available to us. And this was a message that was coming through today around you being a conduit, you being literally an artist, and the position of an artist is a humble one. So it's not us attaching to the archetypes or deities, but more that seeing them as conduits and gatekeepers that exist within these dimensional fields, where this realm of information also resides in these realms that they occupy in. And so they become the translator of this information. They streamline this information to you. And these are about octaves of yourself as well that are intercommunicating with each other. So I see it as intercommunication or an internal dialogue between the human and the soul. Okay, so the cosmic network is equality, available information. Da Vinci, Newton, Tesla, Jung, Shakespeare, it goes on and on, right? Einstein, just to name a few, are other distinguished beings who have left a mark on our evolution. All have access to the genius available in the energy network. Generally, we see these people with admiration and adoration, but forget the true meaning of their real message. Everyone, every single one of you can access the information provided by the energy network if desired. Everything is energetically available for any of us as a tool if we wish to be taken by that energy. We must not let adoration blind us by putting these beings on a pedestal, because we are all one, and all is one and one is all. But it talks about they discovered what was already there to be discovered. It's not that we're ever learning anything new. We're just gently bringing our awareness to what already exists within the field. So it talks about, this is the quantum field, essentially. They have shown us a film which we watch with full concentration before they leave us to become the actors or protagonists of our own reality. Sometimes the challenge is to believe yourself to be capable and discover what it is that you truly want from your life. Out of all that information, which do I connect with? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? Do I know what I want to become? Am I aware of what I'm capable of? So there's something around, again, embodying an alternative expression, an alternate version of you within your current timeline. And if I speak about some of my messages from that South Node to North Node aspect in, let's say, this, I guess I'll give you guys a sneak peek. It was a lot to do with your legacy, right? The way that you're here to impact people and the way that the universe desires to express itself through, again, your unique frequency that's entering into the collective field, something that's flowing through you. And so the message is there's some kind of divine inspiration that's designed for you and solely for you and you only, because there will never be another like you that walks this earth again. And yeah, the North Node in Aquarius is not only about receiving this vision for the future, but it's literally about becoming the container or the vessel or the conduit through which that vision can enter into the world. So I had no clue what this reading was actually going to be about until I opened it, and now I'm beginning to understand. It's where we are building something so strong that can continue serving in the physical realm long after you're physically no longer here. It's like there are still, I'm hearing products of your creations. There are still extensions of you that are living and breathing. It reminds me of a reading that I did speaking about how, you know, how things that you form, like for example, if you create a business, I'll give you guys an example. So like 𝓲𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓽 LLC is it's a company, right? And it has a birthday. So the day that you receive like your LLC, you can make the birth chart. It's got the birth time, it's got everything, and it has its own unique expression and archetypal manifestation. And so it goes through its own like transit activations, and this happens every time we have a conception or we birth or launch something. It has its own, I'm saying, portal of creation. You are that engine and portal of creation. So this is about you being a stargate and whatever it is that you're birthing through your being, and it being an extension of you, an expression of your own soul. And so yeah, that's like the big message for it. This is an Adobe mission with the North Node that's about to enter into the sign of Aquarius. It's very much like an evolutionary style of Simon that each and every single one of you are going to be given. That's so specific for your life's journey, so specific for your soul's intention. Teddy Transcend says the key is to let it flow through you, feel the depths of it and wonder at it. Yeah, so beautifully said. So beautifully said. Yeah. And yeah, so one day we'll find ourselves not somewhere new, but in the very field that we've created for ourselves. And many of you are going to find yourself at the end of this 18-month cycle, literally in a field that you've created. And so the nodal shifts, I just dropped that cosmic network's fine. The nodal shifts are the only things that go through this regression process. And so the vision I was seeing, and a huge message around why I didn't post yesterday, was that I was in this deep rabbit hole for like 3 or 4 hours decoding what these aspects for the nodes are actually going to be for your own subjective journey and also us collectively. And when I was in that place, I was seeing this wavelength where you're syncing with the sync of your own heart. And they have that quote in one of the Shaman's Dream Oracle messages. I still can't remember what card it is, but there's something around you coming back online, like you are creating the field that future generations will enter into. And I'm seeing things that also there inherits, like could be like traits or abilities. I'm hearing models of behavior, you becoming that modeled, living, walking example that goes on to touch the lives of those around you. And those teachings I'm hearing continue to transcend beyond you. So there's something that you're coming back to your heart when it comes to you. These are like deeper wavelengths of who you are beyond your identity, beyond your stories, beyond just recognition or doing things for performance. I just need to take a drink. And essentially, South Node in Leo is all about life force. And the North Node in Aquarius is all about, you know, where we're going to redirect our life force towards, because Aquarius is literally about future objectives. It's the star card type of energy. So it's no longer about, you know, like what can I become in the physical realm, but it's more about what am I building that outlives me. And that's the you know, Aquarius kind of archetype. Aquarius is Ganymede, if you guys don't know, in ancient Greek mythology. And he was basically chosen by Zeus to come up to the higher realms and to live amongst the gods. And so he has this immortal essence. And he had also experienced himself as immortal before. And so the water bearer is connected to this being that was entrusted with carrying this divine cup. And he represents this human vessel that then became capable of holding something greater than, you know, just his individual self. He wasn't identifying himself with this cup, but it would just so happen that he was able to hold, I think they called it like not a golden elixir, it was something to do with, does anyone remember? It's like some kind of eternal elixir, something like that. But Aquarius teaches us that. It teaches us that this unique frequency is not for us to be placed in the center of like recognition, but it's more about, you know, merging our human nature with our divine nature and allowing us to breathe the bridge between both worlds. So I see that as streamlining your multidimensional, otherworldly gifts and abilities, cultivating this high level of awareness, and then anchoring that into the system to know that you are of service to the divine. You don't see yourself as separate from being the divine being that you are. Yes, you're immersed within the human experience, but that's not all of you. You know, you become this clear conduit that doesn't just disappear into the collective field. It's not that we just go fully into Aquarius and then we neglect the Leo aspects, but it's about what is your significant sovereign role and what you contributing towards, you know, the bigger impact that's happening there. So it's allowing you as an individual to become a vessel through which that life force, through which source distributes itself into the collective, because DNA is like a song. It's like a unique frequency within this larger orchestra that we're all participating in, and you have a very important part to play when it comes to that. So it's not just like, look at me, but it's more about hear my magical song and how that's this divine transmission that's flowing through me. And I just feel like, I don't want to repeat it too much, but it was about the humanity shaman's dream oracle message that was coming through. Again, if I have time to like edit that message today, it will go out. If not, maybe I'm not going to post, but I feel like I will. But it's that type of energy, right? It's like millions of pathways that are being formed in the etheric realms that have been happening within you that soon enough end up revealing themselves in the physical. I'm seeing ley lines that unfold before you. And if you think about ley lines, they're usually energetic portals or gateways into dimensions of yourself that existing in higher potential. I'm seeing you anchoring in higher potentials into your current timeline. So this is expanding the frameworks and how you're thinking about yourself by not just, I'm seeing limiting yourself to simply just being a human in the physical realm, but understanding that you're a multidimensional being existing in many realms simultaneously. And I'm seeing you have the potential to impact many realms in this system and many other systems simultaneously. For example, not just impact in the physical, but you impact the emotional realms within those around you, the more subtle, invisible influences. You impact the mental energies of those around you, the energetic imprints. There's something I'm seeing it as like an impression of some kind that you leave, even if it's just the way that, you know, you're embodying that example as you move through the system, as you roam this earth according to that divine essence that corresponds with your own evolution. I'm hearing your evolutionary imprint as well. So yeah, I'm just going to catch up with you guys in the chat. I just wanted to connect with you. So I trust that that is all okay. What a nice surprise. I know I surprised myself with this. I was not thinking I was going to go live today at all. But that's always where we have the divinely inspired actions, you know, become a surprise even to yourself. Like mandalas, yes, Rainy. Portal to other dimensions, merging with ourselves, maybe. Yeah, for sure. You can say it like that, you know, like quantum non-local connections and operating or anchoring a quantum non-local version of yourself inside of your current timeline or your current universe. So what does that look like? Like, imagine if like streamlining just a coordinate of yourself that, or parallel version of yourself, we can say it like that, so it's less confusing inside of your local universe. Yeah, they may look the same, but are they going to respond to those the same? Are they going to go after the things that they do the same that a version of you that would be scared or reluctant to does, right? What would happen if we start disrupting those ways of being? How would reality reconfigure itself to correspond to the version of self that you're inhabiting inside of your local timeline? Today is my 45th solar return. Oh, happy birthday. Happy solar return. Third, 3Y, 3 sound, 3 mist. Ride the waves of grief, but just know your loved one doesn't want you left in turmoil. You'll be reunited, for time is not real. Yes, 100% asphalt. I really love you and your gifts. I'm going to be reaching out today for a reading because I feel so called in resonance with your beautiful soul. Thank you so much, Lefty. I look forward to your flow with Denise. I look forward to your email. Guys, also just an announcement. My personal reading prices are going to be increasing in August. So this is like the last, I don't know, what is it, like 2 weeks window for them to be at the current price range. So that's in every description box of every video. So just letting you know as well. But yeah, I love it. I decided I just got done with my personal readings for today, and I was like, let me just hop on live quick and connect with you guys. 144 in the chat. Let me see. I'm just going through your messages now, and then we'll touch a little base on this to get some advice on how to navigate this shift. My work has returned. Hi, Steve. Always good to see you. I'm Aquarius too. On the energy. All right. All right. Yeah, showing up as your authentic self. Yeah, 100%. That's essentially what's happening, right? The strongest entanglements are not just in the physical plane, but they do manifest in the energetic realms, right? These are like subconscious agreements that are continuously renewed through our attention and participation. And so this gateway, you can think about it when the nodal axis shift, is literally where you're being asked to now create in a way that kind of goes beyond you. You're creating as a vessel of possibility. We've already mastered the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces, which has been teaching us the art of surrender and reconnecting with our own intuition and trusting that I'm hearing inevitable flow of our own evolution. So let me see what you've mastered real quick with this cycle coming to a close. And trusting your internal, I'm hearing navigation system, even in a way that cannot be explained. So you have golden hour. You're receiving right now a spatial or special light for some type of insight to come through when it comes to this next cosmic chapter. That's a message that's coming through. Let me go ahead and clarify this. 𝓬𝓪𝓬𝓪. So the eclipses. And we're about to enter into eclipse season, guys, next month. 𝓬𝓪𝓬𝓪 is the light that comes in thanks to an eclipse. Now you have time, so this could feel like it's non-linear in the way that messages from your future self are coming through, and it's light that you can thank. So light is information essentially, and there's some kind of a window of space that you're being reconnected with. I'm just seeing like a bioplasma being inside of a communication hub. So vision has been coming through a lot, where you are all individual nodes in the system. When you're existing in a state of coherence, you're anchoring as a pillar on the planet Earth. And when enough of us are in coherence in the planet Earth, our nodes etherically and holographically begin to create this lattice. And I'm seeing it as like a living biofield or membrane over the planet Earth herself. And we can send these signals or transmissions to each other, which bring us into deeper alignment with our purpose, with our why, as we're seated here in our intention. I'm hearing our intention becomes our anchor, our intention for what it is that we want to experience on planet Earth. I'm hearing what we are a bridge for experience to flow through in this system. So as these nodal shifts, I would say within the next 2 weeks, this is like a window that you're being given. I'm going to go ahead and read the golden hour for you so you can see what it entails. It's a very short message. It literally just talks about what I said, like insight that you're going to be receiving within these next 2 weeks. If you haven't already, like if you're still waiting for that final, I'm seeing like go ahead or confirmation, we'll read on this a little bit more. So a spatial special light or some kind of insight. It talks about the atmosphere becomes reflective and admirable. It's astonishment. A sublime sunset changes the compass on my mattress. I no longer sleep on the asphalt of harsh sensation. I open my mind and soul to all of that expansion. So this is light spreading through the energy and the environment around you, something that's mystical, illuminated, and it arrives from the sun, where the sky looks clear and free, a period before the departure or after the arrival. So something is happening there. It also talks about in the past, twilight was the time that was awaited by most astronomers. And there's something around twilight hour. What's it called? The twilight hour. I'm going to use that as a keyword. This is how the next 2 weeks are going to feel. Changes during the day, but sunrise and sunset are still the source of astonishment for all those who witness them. I see this as intercommunication with plasma, which is actually designed to transform the way that you're relating to your life experiences on Earth, particularly emotionally. So that's something that's highly going to be activated. You might want to sun gaze at sunrise or sunset. That's another message that's coming through. But let me go ahead and define twilight hour. Define twilight hour. That's what's going to be happening during this last nodal shift for you. Twilight hour is the period just before sunrise or sunset. It can be used poetically to describe an in-between phase, a transitional moment between one state, chapter, or era or another. So you're literally in between eras right now. Yeah, yeah. The witching hour. You're a wizard, Harry. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Imagine having 1,002 roads to choose from, and you choose neither. You just witness choices and jump here and there everywhere, witnessing like the end of that movie Lucy. Yeah, very much so. You know, you have this omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent type of perspective where the observer within you is greater than any experience that's unfolding before you, and you can be seated in the stillness of your own heart and observe the intricacies and complexities of your surroundings, right? Your connection to this third dimensional realm, understanding that you're interconnected to all things. Seeing once you see it, you can't unsee it. So this is the liminal space between light and darkness, consciousness and unconscious, the visible and the unseen, because neither day nor night fully dominates. Twilight is often associated with heightened intuition and psychic sensitivity, especially because, again, the nodes are going to be sitting at the last degree. As it moves into 29 degrees, that's a critical anaretic degree. So it's like most potent before its transition. So that could be a transition or initiation or some kind of spiritual passage that you guys go through for the next 2 weeks. I'm now understanding this is like the activation point. It's a thinning also between boundaries, between the physical and the subtle realm. So a lot more information I'm seeing. Pay attention to your dreams, your insights, altered states of consciousness, because Pisces is like 12th house energy. So it's a connection to the bedroom, to the unknown, meditation, anything that brings us to our inner realms. The universe isn't going to be pulling things away from us, but it is going to be gently pulling us inwards. It's where we neutralize our relationship with the matrix by pulling our attention away externally and again pulling it towards our internal matrices, where we are able to see things clearly. As the human condition lifts, we see this realm through what it is, the realm of energy. So some kind of shadow work that you could be doing, reflection or hidden truths that are going to be surfacing, and endings that brings about simultaneous new beginnings in your life. So one reality is dissolving while the next hasn't fully formed. Yeah, I love this. So seeing beyond ordinary perception. Okay, so that's what you're going to see, and then that's going to lead you into eclipse season. So I'm hearing this is like the entry energy into the eclipse season, which I believe the first eclipse, let me go ahead and get that up, was on my calendar. I think it's on the 13th of August. We have that new moon solar eclipse in Leo. Let me double check. Let me check the date just to be sure, so I can give you guys the right date. You're a wizard, Dad. I love that. Would that also include strange dreams? Yes, Robert Silverback, 100%. I don't know about you guys, but the astral realm's been popping. Yeah, so August 12th is going to be the Leo new moon, depending where you are in the world. For myself, it'll be August 13th on this side of the globe. Yeah, that's a south node in Leo as well. So, you know, letting go of like external validation or recognition, you know, it's going to carry themes of like a culmination point. So we're going to start this eclipse season with a release that's going to be occurring. Let's go and take a look at the solar corona, because that literally is the eclipse. So it feels like there's like a clearing when it comes to your third eye, guys, like something that's going to be happening there where it's oh, let's dust off the human condition. Let's remove anything that's been obstructing your light or seeing you from what it is that you truly are. You know, who are you beyond your identity? Who are you beyond your story? You know, don't allow yourself to become defined by these experiences, but allow yourself to become more refined by them. We're going to see what that entails. I'm actually going to read on that shift. And this is going to mark the beginning of an 18-month journey for you. So solar corona talks about light revelation. So it feels like you're being seated inside of twilight hour, where it literally reminds me of driving on a road and looking at the rear view mirror and seeing like the road dissolve behind you, like the old paradigm dissolving, and there's a new road unfolding before you as you drive down it, but you don't necessarily know where you're going. You just know that it's forming as you walk the path. I was just seeing a still shot image. So it's almost like this is the moment where time stops. Let's deep that for a minute. This is the moment that the eternal being experiences just temporal moments through space-time. is simply seated within these different coordinates within space-time. So learning that comes forth through a difficult time or allowing an understanding or transformation to take place. So the light, which is information that we can appreciate thanks to an eclipse. Light is also something that's extremely healing. It's something that is illuminated from our awareness. So I'm seeing something being brought forth into our awareness to be addressed as well. It is the rainbow in the storm, the liberation of the ego, which is literally South Node as like releasing the ego. It's knowing, okay, yeah, Leo is ruled by the sun, but it also has a part to play in the solar system. And the appreciation of pure beauty that seen through witnessing an eclipse. Paradoxically, the best time to see and appreciate your solar corona is the moment of a reflection during a dark storm. Super interesting because this is literally a solar eclipse as well. So Spirit's giving us like exact dates for this too. So this is the leading up period. The perfect circular light that the sun does not allow seeing in a day with no eclipse. It's hidden and only revealed before our eyes thanks to the eclipse. There's something that's going to be going down on this eclipse. The nodal axis themes, the eclipses. Damn, I wasn't expecting this message, but I knew I was being guided to come on with you guys. So I'm really excited to see how this unfolds. Let's see. I don't want to say what came through on today's message so much. I'm just going to say that there's an initiation that you're going through right now. And you're going to understand the value of what it is that you're experiencing right now, because it's like, I'm hearing a common factor right before you're on the verge of, like right before you're about to break through, you're going to experience the most level of resistance. That's what this is. Let me see. Let me just think for a moment. Not let me think. Let me feel. Where should we go from here? Okay. Let's get Cosmos Visions deck. I want to take a look at the theme of this. What's the theme of this for you? Tell me about this this twilight zone. Because I'm seeing it as a time dilation bubble where the person that you are now and then, or the perspective that you have, High Priestess. I'm telling you, this is the pomegranate. So it's like you're being taken into the underworld. But there's some kind of gracious energy with the swan. You know, it's like not underestimating the strength of this. I'm going to read the High Priestess for you in this deck because she's not just like a regular High Priestess. Let me see if I can find the card right now. I mean, the book. I have everything a bit everywhere. I wasn't really expecting to go live. You guys saw I like posted this like 2 minutes before I hopped on. It talks about trusting your intuition. Otherwise, I'm just going to read the short synopsis of it. Maybe that's all that we need. Let me. Okay, whatever. I actually don't know. I just used it though for like a personal read. I feel like something's going to be hidden in plain sight. Because, oh yeah, there is. It's right there. It's launching between my Gateway of the Light activation deck. So there's something at the bottom that's going to be revealed. It's brought to the surface. That's what I'm seeing. Nothing is a coincidence as I start these readings. Everything's coinciding. Oh, is she even in the book, or is she in this page that's fallen out? She might be. I have the 𝓤𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓬 here. Oh, that's what came up actually. Okay, I'm not even going to give it away. Let me just, I'll leave that for the pre-record. It's part of the story. Let's say that. Okay. Something has to fall away to reveal a new forefront, like what's going to be the forefront of this chapter for you. So protective, good omen, and clarity. The swan floats effortlessly across the glassy water, scattering droplets in elegant patterns. She is at peace with her existence and understands that which is buried deep in the mind. She is your guardian for all important magical transitions and reconnections. Yeah. With grace and warmth, she unlocks your unconscious and reunites it with your conscious. She drifts to the melody of the universe. Everything comes swirling back to you in a brilliant flash. That's what I'm saying. You feel more connected to yourself than ever before. The thing is, this whole matrix it's in a spherical motion, so it's always expanding and contracting, but there's some type of contraction where you're being called inwards before you expand into this new realm of possibilities as this new version of self. Like you haven't been this version of self before. You haven't been operating in this frequency. And so your exchanges on earth and your experiences on earth will be mirroring that, okay? The quality of that. A glowing shield cascades down the neck of the brilliant red swan. This shield represents a protective presence in your life. So again, it's this time dilation bubble where your galactic brothers and sisters are opening up this portal, this passage, this safe corridor for you to come and safely learn more, again, beckoning you for what your life experiences on earth could be. I'm seeing that's just a shift of perspective, shifting the way that you're thinking and feeling about them, shifts the way that you experience them, and also your resonance. And I'm seeing it as you also falling out of resonance with an old timeline as well. And, beings are encoded into that timeline or lessons. You're evolving beyond certain lessons. You're transcending them by integrating it. If this one comes up when you have a decision to make, so especially if you have a decision within these next few weeks, take it as affirmation that what you feel in your mind is what your heart needs to, or represents mental clarity, wisdom, and the connection with your unconscious mind. If you've been waiting to take the plunge into something new, then now is the time. So that's your message with the High Priestess. So it's very Twilight energy. If I was going to pick one Twilight archetype, it would definitely be her. Let me read what you guys are saying. I mean, it's not to escape this world, it's to be anchored in it and see through the illusions of it clearly, because it is a beautiful illusion that we have created for ourselves to participate in. There is so much beauty within this dimension, it's just that many of us get lost in the dream of physical reality, so much so that it pulls us away from our divinity and also our full human potential, because the soul grows so much. It's not just a training ground for consciousness, but eventually it's a remembrance into what this realm is and all that it will ever be, which is a playground of love. It's a playground for the soul to experience itself through form. No other realm gives us, no other dimension actually gives us the privilege of being able to experience the journey of our choices. And we have infinite journeys here in this realm that we can choose to participate in. Yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying. This is super beautiful. I wasn't expecting this message. Let's get Shaman's Dream Oracle 2 between this passageway. Seeing it as a passageway specifically. Just keep hearing beckoning. Oh, you have 2. Okay, Watcher's Trans. I freaking love it. Okay, Watcher's Transpersonal is exactly what I was saying. So it literally talks about, the still observer within you that's greater than any experience or change that's unfolding before you. Then you have Stranger and Curiosity. So this is about accepting your own inexperience. Okay, accepting your own inexperience as you enter into some type of fated event with sky writings. It talks about experiences that are encoded into the field of this version of self that you're embodying, okay? It's designed for this version of self. So it feels like eligibility of some kind, right? And when I talk about that, I'm just talking about resonance. So let's take a look at this. 60. It says to witness the human comedy unfolding on the ground with 60. Serendipity, the observer, the witness, and transpersonal. The thing is, when we view our experiences on earth through the heart space and the lens of source, we are able to just sit back and not attach to what gets taken away and swept up by the storm. And it just feels like, again, not that certain things are necessarily being taken out of your energy field, but this feels like being so rooted in the divine plan that even disappointment to the ego is part of not just protection, but also redirection. It's like something that's some kind of room that's being made. Hi, Leonella. It's always good to see you. Grand Rising Star family, finding caught alive. I'm so glad every time I see you. Yeah, it's been a minute. Leonella's like an OG, okay? Or OG. Okay. When watchers appear, it's an invitation to stop doing. Pause, get off the treadmill, and take a deep breath. Find the witness within, the one who can observe the fire and fury. I'm gonna make you a I'll do it after. I'm gonna make you a mod. Let me know if anyone else wants to be moderators in the chat that I've been here a minute as well. I'm gonna probably update that soon. So anyway, the time is right to step back. If you have a thought or opinion, keep it to yourself. If you have a feeling that something needs to be expressed, do it in the shower. Do not engage with the action happening around you, simply observe. So again, the stillness within you, the still observer, is able to witness the intricacies and complexities of this secret reordering that's going to be happening in your life experience during this window of time. And there was a specific thing around, you can't really control what's going to happen. I'll just say that over these next few weeks. But what you can control is how long you allow it to impact your inner realm, or how you think about it, or how you feel about it, or immediately transform the way that you're experiencing it. So I'm seeing this as seeing it from the lens of the soul. Nothing is personal, it's all vibrational. Witness I'm hearing great flood, like the cleansing, the recession of the tide that's going to bring forth new opportunities, new experiences, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it's only transformed. And so there are certain things that we are releasing in order for them to, return to us in another form. And also it reminds me of a quote that I posted today. And I'm going to go ahead and read it because it's actually coming up in my mind's eye right now. And I said something around, all right, hold on. Oh, two things. Observing without absorbing is the highest form of intelligence, because true power lies within your ability to turn negativity into positivity. You can only see as far as you think. Then, never regret the love that you give. It returns to you in another time, in another person, in another circumstance, but it always comes back to you. I'm seeing something like this, like something returning to you in another form through this release. And so trust that process. I love you too, Leon. I love you guys too. You guys are so sweet. Okay, so simply observe. What just shows up to direct your attention to the horizon and away from the anthill in front of you. Others might think that you're simply doing nothing, but let them know that you're helping the sun to set in the evening sky. There are bigger things to attend to. You spent so long trying to correct the course of events and actions of others. Let it be for a short while as you become the observer rather than the doer. The Watchers invites you to break free from the linear, casual pace of the petty day-to-day, rise to divine coincidence, to serendipity, and notice how the act of seeing the heart of all matters produces results. Things happen without you doing anything. Creation unfolds in its own mysterious way, requiring only a sacred witness. See, there's something very magical that unfolds through the lens of unconditional love, which is literally a state of awareness that we're in, because it's non-attachment. Unconditional love means that we're not infringing our will upon anything. We're not trying to change or impart. We're not actually supposed to be in changing or imparting anything on those around us, but we accept everything as it is. Why? Because we are all children of the cosmos. We all have a part to play in the cycles, a part to play in this, spherical motion that is time. And, we're all learning to return to that wisdom once again. We are all returning back to our formless nature before returning back to the light. And I see it as some kind of harmonic order that's always being sustained within this third dimension, whereas some of us fall asleep, others of us come into our remembrance, come into our awakening. And there is some kind of, I'm hearing like crash out, something that you're going to see kind of dissolving, some kind of a process of, it feels like a remembering. And sometimes that can be very traumatic for the human, because there is a lot that we need to account for in that moment, where I'm seeing it as, the only way that I can explain it is almost like G-force energy, where there's this force that we're hit with when it comes to, I'm seeing our own karma or the cause that we are then seated in. Our life is simply the effect or combination of every decision that we made or decision that we did not make. Dark matter is a topic of discussion that's coming through right now. And so many of us are going to be waking up within the dream of physical reality and choosing where we want to lucidly guide our third dimensional dream towards our chosen destination, to something that feels more in alignment with this stage of our evolution. And so there is I'm hearing with greater awareness, there's greater repercussions of that. There's almost like greater consequences if we still choose to default, or I'm hearing deviate from what we know is actually possible for us in this experience. We will experience too much discomfort that will surpass the comfort that we once had in familiar terrain or territory. That's what I'm seeing it as, right? Yeah, nowhere is alignment, but their true stars 100%. Yeah. I'm hearing it's designed to interrupt all patterns of behavior. That's really what it is. Oh, and actually that was coming up in the astral dream. So let me go ahead and get back up that astral message. That was actually the next scene. I'm thinking about it. So what I was being shown was the South Node. For example, the next scene I was being shown, so I was zooming out from the matrix and I saw planets that were conjunct the South Node. And if you think about planets that are conjunct, especially invisible axis points, it's a fusion or blend that occurs and it impacts you in this lifetime specifically. And so when this happens, it carries very familiar pathways, like very familiar energies of, you know, patterns of behavior and subconscious expectations that beings have been hardwired to remember you as, because that's their point of reference for you, like how you operated throughout lifetimes. And then you're interrupting those systems, which can be extremely disorientating in this lifetime. And it's also a lifetime that your soul has already known. So it's something that's really easy to revert back to. And it's also a gift that you have, but it's being called to be expressed a little bit differently in this lifetime as well. So it's the instinct or a way of moving through reality that's already been deeply developed, but it's not your path of like growth. Familiarity is not always what's aligned. Okay, those are like two different things. So it can show energy that feels very, although it's easy and it's almost automatic in many ways, we've already mastered it. And so our path of growth is, okay, what do we want to do with that? How do we want to express that in a new way? And you may not have consciously learned how to access it because it already exists within the system or, as a form of memory. So for example, like I have Uranus conjunct my South Node. And so just subconsciously coming into this lifetime, it's very easy for me to just go off grid and exile myself or just detach from situations like this. Like it's actually a bit, I have to be really aware of that pattern of behavior because it's very rebellious. Like I know how to separate myself from society. That's something that comes naturally to me, and any natives that have Uranus conjunct the South Node, you know, especially like in third house energy, a lot to do with siblings, like being the black sheep, like being the one that just exiles himself, being the one that, you know, just interrupts those systems or those patterns. I have no problem doing that. And so, you know, the path of evolution in this lifetime is to be aware, yes, that's a gift that I can detach very, very easily and just be in my own world. But, you know, I'm not here to go off grid. Like I'm here to interact with humanity. My North Node is in Leo, conjunct Mercury. So part of my evolutionary path is actually to express and connect with so many of you beautiful beings. And so although it's so easy for me to just go behind the scenes, I know that's not the path of growth in this lifetime. And so yeah, it exists as a form of memory, but it's also something that you can unconsciously over identify with. And so when the planet becomes part of the identity of the soul, you're being asked to evolve beyond it. And it may no longer be something like a pattern of behavior that carries the soul into its next stage of development. So the purpose is not to reject that planet conjunct the South Node, but it's to extract the wisdom, is to extract the gifts and the mastery from it without continuing that same kind of expression of it. So the North Node is more of that like planetary level of redirection. It's how we can develop or use that energy differently. So yes, we can break free from societal expectations, but how can we carry that forth into the masses so that each of us as sovereign beings can begin to kind of deter or break away from, let's say, societal engineering or like patterns of behavior that have been weaved through societal constructs. So that's like the gift of, okay, how can you become the glitch in the matrix, each and every one of you? It's something that's already encoded within us. How can we bring that forth to the masses to remember us? So it creates that, you know, disruptive force in many ways. So that's like how it aspects in my chart particularly, but I was being shown that collectively as a signature that's going to be occurring. All right, so that's the stranger energy. So I'm going to go ahead and read the stranger because that came through with the observer. '53. So moving past fear of differences, curiosity, and acceptance, the stranger moves through the world in a shroud of darkness that often elicits fear, rejection, uncertainty, and the danger of the unknown that defines its very presence. Yes, there's a veil of separation between you. I'm seeing the veil of separation between the known and the unknown, but this is about not seeing the unknown as something to fear, but actually your biggest friend, because your full potential lies on the other side of what you've once allowed yourself to do or allowed yourself to experience. You know, in order to get places that you want to go and experience things that you haven't experienced before, you have to be willing to, I'm hearing, interrupt the system and do things that you haven't done before. So look closer and summon the courage to remain open to what you might find. You may be conditioned to only look to what mirrors that is safe and known to you, refusing to entertain any concept of the other beyond something to fear. In order to broaden your world and experience of it, you must refute the illusion that sameness is the only way. Nothing you expect externally matches up with the other, and so you're challenged by your own inexperience. But don't miss this opportunity for learning. Something extraordinary is being offered to you right now if you remain curious and teachable and now allow the newness to envelop you as you explore the possibilities. This is a departure from your expectations, but the stranger has come to invite you to dance to a new music, a new tempo, a new sensation that will add more dimension to you and what you create as a result. Now is the time to leave room for other points of view and other ways of seeing with humility and grace. This is a defining moment, so take the risk because life is like a precious diamond with many facets, not just one. Feels like there's something that's being cultivated. It reminds me of the diamond reading that I did. It's been coming up a lot today, so I'll reshare it on my community page. But I'm pretty sure I spoke about like you are a diamond beneath the surface that has been already cultivated and has already fully formed before it was long before it was discovered. It was always there. And so this is a dimensional aspect within you or a certain expression of yourself that has always been there. I'm seeing has just lain dormant until you gave yourself permission or created safety in the body enough for the soul to feel safe enough to play or express itself once again. And so the next message in the astral is you guys were walking up some kind of dark hill and we were talking about telepathy and we were saying that it's important to feel out the journey. And so moving uphill through darkness is reminded that it's important to, like, again, properly fuel our journey, especially when it comes to self-trust of more demanding parts of our path, like what it is that we're actually relentlessly devoting ourselves to. I'm hearing like the soul's path that we're relentlessly devoting ourselves to. And then I also saw being less concerned with time and a location. Oh yeah. And then I saw that someone landed somewhere really, really pretty that they hadn't expected. Like they were in some kind of beautiful dream landscape that they hadn't planned, but they had just opened themselves up to like new experiences. And was like, you know, universe surprised me with something even better than I could have even held within my capacity. And the capacity is like a reference point for the past. So I'm seeing that a new point of reference being created for you. Like you haven't experienced life on earth like this or opportunities or partnerships like this because you've never been this version of self before. And I said it was the detachment from the expectation or outcome that is somehow ended up working out perfectly. And she arrived at the most magical season where everything started blossoming. And so that shows that detachment from needing to know the exact location or the outcome, right? Like the how or the when something's going to unfold for you, and just focusing on the where you want to go and the why you want to go there, especially the essence of it, allows the outcome to arrange itself perfectly. And you arrive in the most magical season where it's like there's like the perfect timing that's unfolding within your life experience. So I'm going to go ahead and get a message for this from the Cosmos Oracle 2, something around some kind of detachment. Oh, all right. So many of you are talking about the darkness, the darkness, the darkness, the darkness. You have celestial uterus. So this is the womb of creation. It's you being birthed. I'm hearing you being like, I'm seeing the twilight zone as like a stargate that you're in right now. And if you think about that, it's a kinetic velocity generator. It's also known as a time matrix that you're in. And it essentially, I'm hearing, picks you up. Okay, this is what it is. It reminds me of a reading that I did a while back. And it talks about So especially because you have stratus pores here at the base, which is like a temporary place. Like the baby isn't designed to be in the womb forever. Eventually it will be birthed out into the physical world. I'm seeing it as, you know, I did this reading a while ago. Some of you are going to remember. And I spoke about how in the world of 2D, you only have up and down, okay? No, you only have left and right. And so there's this fish underneath the river and they're swimming and they're used to just, you know, going kind of back and forth. And then one day this alien like plugs them up, this intangible force, and it puts them inside this fishbowl. And now they're seated above the river and they're in the world of up. They didn't even know the world of up existed. They didn't know anything beyond their normal perceivable reality existed. And so they're seated in this fishbowl, they're looking around and everything looks alien to them. There's not fish that are swimming, there's people that are walking and they can breathe outside of water. What? I've never seen something like this before. It's that type of energy. And then like we could talk about that as like abductions, but like, that's just higher dimensional beings and how they operate in different physical laws. And when they engage and interact with each other. And I'm seeing this as the experience that other beings on this planet Earth have with you, right? Where bioplasma beings, and we're all bioplasma beings, are designed to be part of a counterpart Earth that we shift into. Oh my God, this reminds me of another message I was supposed to do. I'll see if I can find it. I was talking to Carl about it the other day. And I was saying it's part of a counterpart Earth. So it's like a dimensional frequency where we are everywhere. You know, I say this to some people when I see them, especially in physical reality. I'm like, we are everywhere. You just have to be coherent and sustain that level of awareness to recognize us when we're in the field, because, you know, I see you, I see all of you. You are a node, you are a pillar in the system. There's a lattice. We have communication hubs that we can exchange information in. There are many of us that are aware and awake in the system. Keep your field open and you'll see us. We are literally everywhere. And so there's that type of element that's coming through from it. And, you know, then the fish is like poured back into its world of like, you know, just left and right. But it has discovered the up. Once consciousness expands into new dimensions, it can no longer return back to its old form. And so I'm hearing that's where we feel like we're a small fish or a big fish in a small pond. Like metaphorically, our consciousness, I'm seeing lighthouse aspects, have like expanded into new realms. I'm hearing of information where we return back to our timeline, but we have suspended our consciousness beyond, let's just say, our current coordinates within space-time. We anchor in some kind of information and now we're dancing to some kind of new music that not everyone around us can hear. And so we appear crazy to those that can't hear the music. So we have this innate understanding that not everyone is going to understand, and it's an experience that we have been acquainted with, but we can't really explain it. And it's because, you know, many of us around us aren't yet calibrated to the frequency of being able to receive that transmission just yet. And so again, there's always harmonic order. There's always going to be a level of contrast in this realm. But this is where you become your own source of understanding. This is where if you want to be seen, you know, it's a time to understand and be understood, because there was a time, you know, and once upon a time before you were introduced to the world of up, there was a time when you were a deity that was still lost in sleeping and matter. But once consciousness becomes aware that it branches and extends and originates far beyond its current system, well, it begins to behave very, very differently. And so celestial uterus is what I'm seeing as you being birthed. It talks about you being birthed once again, where you begin to flourish and interact with society completely differently. And that's your ability to hold space. It's also your ability to, you know, be more compassionate to not just others, but also yourself. Let me go ahead and read celestial uterus. You'll see what I mean. Yes, super interesting timing right now. 9 hours could be significant. 9 is all about releasing. 9s are also, so I'm a life path 9. 9s are also ruled by Neptune, so that's coming up. 9 is, Neptune is the ozone layer, so it's the intangible part of the body, and it's also the aura, so it's the things that you can't see but are felt. And yeah, each auric layer also holds realms of information. Oh, I love being on here with you guys, you know. It really is an alchemical process just to become aware and sustain that level of awareness and interact with the rest of society. You know, Hafez said it best. He said, see God in everything, but keep it a secret, you know? So celestial uterus talks about genesis, fertility, and support. Everything begins in the uterus. as a container, solitary in silence, resting before leaving the dark to step into the light. Eventually, we see the universe as one single being, one emanation, difference and only seeming. The real illusion is that anything is separate from you. Giving birth to allow ourselves to flourish in society and interact with the rest of the planet. The uterus gives us the necessary time to contemplate the crucial phases of life and above all of gestation. What else could have possibly come from that seed? We are born and we flourish. We gestate and give birth to ourselves continuously in the cycle of life. We acknowledge ourselves as human creators who change our skin on a cyclical basis, giving life and birth to new parts of our being, eventually revealing it from its hidden gestation process. Our projects and relationships are formed in the same way, in the continuous birth and the fractal of life, which always needs two parts, the alchemy of the elements and the space to contain it. And this entire earth is the space to contain it. It's a conscious laboratory for the expansion of consciousness. It's the womb that hosts you. And the beautiful thing is that consciousness expands to such a degree where we don't just see ourselves as a localized vessel moving through the field of space-time, but we are the field of space-time that hosts our localized vessel. And so, you know, you are inseparable from the device that you're tuning into me right now. You guys, and I know some of you like to explain it, like when I explain it, and I love it too, that I'm not actually holding this card right now, right? Must we remember that the negative electrons that are orbiting the atoms of this card are just repelling the negative electrons that are orbiting the atoms of my hand. And so there is only a repulsion of electromagnetic fields. You're never touching anything. There's an illusion of solidity. There's an illusion that you are separate from anything. So, you know, that's our third eye opening. That's our multi-sensory perception system that allows us to tune into many dimensions beyond just the physical. You know, this is consciousness collapsed into form by operating in slow, dense bandwidths. It's slow oscillations, and these slow spin rates create densities. This is just plasma being different, you know, densities of matter, essentially. So that's you. I feel like I'm pregnant in my head. Well, consciousness expanding. There is no spoon. I love that. I love that quote. There is no spoon. Everything is quantum superposition, which means that you are malleable. I'm also hearing your stories are malleable because you can change the way that you're thinking about them, changing the way that you're feeling about them, and shifting your resonance to it in the current moment and also that of the past. You can anchor that into your body. I just want to read your guys' comments before I continue with the next flight. Well, the next scene, because the next scene was a flight, and I saw you guys in between connection flights, and there was a release that was happening, and I said that was a release of timelines or connections to the point that you didn't realize how much of the system has been holding on to you, or you've been holding on to, until you finally gave it permission to leave or evolve beyond it. And then I saw impacts of generations on children or families that we're born into, where we carry much of the same belief systems from our family. And I said, if evolution of the soul is a competition, then you've missed the point of evolution itself, because the soul was never designed to be measured through comparison, because every being is moving through its own precise stage of remembering and becoming. Every soul is experiencing a certain level of, you know, foundation of experiences that it will then be able to utilize as a point of reference for its own process of expansion, essentially. So yes, yeah, we are. I live in synchronicity and I have yet to figure it all out, but at least I videotape and document it. I love that, the bright side. You know, trust your own decryptions, I would say. Trust your, you know, because you can even encode things into the system, guys. Like, for example, if you're looking to make a major life decision, the universe has, and this is essentially what tarot readers do in general, and like, or just every single one of us are psychic conduits. Just many of our gifts have become atrophied because we doubt our ability. We just need to exercise this ability once again, because we're all energy beings. So all you're doing is reading the field of energy, and that's all the system is. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the third dimension is essentially designed to reinforce something that you already know within yourself. And so we look for clarification externally to just reinforce something that we innately know. None of us are telling you, again, we can circle back to the cosmic network, anything new. We're just telling you what's already existing within the field. And so when we are able to view our own life experiences objectively and not attached to it, we can view it without distortion as well. 99999, end of a cycle. Love that, love that, love that. The earth, like the brain, and we are conduits connecting to the earth and each other. Exactly. And so when you heal your body, you heal your organism, which is an extension of the earth. You also simultaneously heal Gaia. All right, that's how you're doing the grid work as an inside job. The solar system is naturally occurring, so typically we're all aliens, extraterrestrials, including the planet that we're here. Yeah, you're multicellular. I have a reading, teaching on that actually in my transcendent teachings about being a starseed. You're multicellular, so you within you is the DNA of source. It's the DNA of everything. Within the DNA is the memory. So there are many versions of you existing in quantum non-local connections, and dimensions aren't spatial concepts, so that's what the brain is formatted to believe. It's not that you and the Arcturus version of yourself are existing in like separate coordinates. They are literally frequencies that are self-organized, and so that octave is existing within you. All right, and these are like the archetypal expressions that you take multidimensionally. It's like quantumly within your field. Yeah. Just reading. God expressing individuality. That's what it is. It's the objective. Source gets to experience itself through your subjective lens, your subjective eyes. We are important, fact, multiversal. Yeah, we are multiversal, universal organisms of consciousness. And you have an entire universe inside of you. What will happen is that we will not need phones. We're able to communicate with each other minds telepathically, just like they did in Atlantis. Exactly. Telepathy, and I'll bring that up soon. You guys will see I'll do a workshop on it eventually, where we can actually, I want it to be very interactive, where we actually able to utilize this in mystery schools and bring back that information, because telepathy essentially is a field reading. We're essentially reading somebody's field, so it's a level of field literacy. And when we are transparent with ourselves, we can also recognize octaves of consciousness that a being is also hosting within that and we're operating under. And so there is no hiding in these higher civilizations. All we're doing is, the earth is still in a very vulnerable maturation process, but it also moves through cycles. And so all we're doing is not entering into new civilizations, but we're bringing back this higher order. Okay, the earth is evolving into a higher order, which means that we are naturally coming back to certain systems of creation. I'm also hearing you as an engine of creation. I love you, soul family. Yes, Leonella. Okay, let's go and get that message for the connecting flights. I feel like getting a little bit more practical with this one, so let's go and get some oracle messages here. Okay, Archangel Chamuel, I love this. So I said practical, and then we got an I was going to say Archangel. So yeah, Archangel Chamuel is about your desire. It's also about your life force. So I see this as where your attention is being directed, also how you're exchanging your life force. Chamuel, solar plexus is also about boundaries in the system too. So I'm hearing just what you're granting access into your field. Life force energy, it's a golden sphere of the solar plexus. It's also how we metabolize anger. It's how we process severe levels of anger, especially when it comes to collective injustices in the system. And the thing is, when we zoom out enough, everything is always in perfect design. So even Gaia herself has taken on certain contractual agreements to experience a level of contrast. And when we date this back into, like the earliest civilizations, then we understand that, the interference with the telomeres and the tinkering with DNA and the Anunnaki and things like this, it was just systems of creation for source to, experience itself through many of these different subdivisions, and the shadow and the light. But even the shadow is born from the light, and also the light cannot exist without its counterpart, the shadow. And so these are just many beings that, even if it doesn't look like light, it's still light, right? It doesn't have to look like light for it to be light. It all is still source. So when we date it back to its point of origin, it's one emanation, and it's difference in only seeming. So even though things look very different in this system, it's all truth. And there are also inversions of truth. There is truth that is being distorted, but many of us are still learning lessons even through that myopic lens. And I'm seeing it as, for example, we can refer to it as we forget in the system just to remember, we dream just so that we can awaken. You know, we move through life not trusting our intuition so that we can experience the contrast of what it's like to trust ourselves as we move through the system. So these are just energies of contrast that the soul learns to experience for rapid expansion. Because what happens with resistance training, guys, we get stronger, right? So it's a level of like spiritual athleticism or spiritual stamina that we gain. All right, so this revolves around emotions of desire and your personal energy. When this card appears upright, indicates an increased enthusiasm that's present or soon to be on its way. This is a great time to move forward with the completion of your desires. Your life force is vibrating with power and resonance, and your soul is calling you to direct your energy in a focused, purposeful manner. This angel of power is with you now, so go for it. My third chakra is open to its perfect, healthy state. I radiate a bright and vibrant life force energy, and I feel excitement for all that I do. Beautiful. Want it in the new reality and crying for attention. Yeah, Mary Jane, what I would say with that is she said so many entities want in on our new reality. And so again, this is one container. The earth is one container that hosts multiple frequencies, and dimensions are just, again, they are layers of reality. So many of these vibrations can interact with each other, but they also exist within us. So within this system, the matrix is a psychological operation. It is designed to pull our attention away from internal to external, so much so that we get lost in the dream of physical reality and fall asleep. And everything will compete for our attention. It will either bring us into encounters that create conflict or confusion or distortion, or into coherence, into creation, and into deeper connection, essentially. And so it's up to us, and again, to bring our awareness back inwards to decide what it is that we want to consciously participate with, whether we are reacting in the system or we're consciously creating. This is where we're no longer just merely interacting in the system, but instead we're anchoring on high levels of awareness to lucidly exchange our life force, to apply our free will. And that actually becomes our universal compass, because if you can wake up and do that lucidly within the third dimension, then yeah, that also bleeds into many other systems of creation. That bleeds into dream state as well. That lucidity does bleed into dream state. So yeah. And that's how we grow gray matter in the brain as well, which is where we can sustain those high levels of awareness. John Elliott, wow, your mind is so deeply vast in spirituality in the quantum field in which we exist. You speak my mind, things I never usually talk to others about. I'm so glad to hear you're in the exact place. That's it's always a pleasure to have resonant souls that can appreciate attempting to compress the infinite into the human language. Let's just say that. It's the more advanced, and I don't want to say advanced, but like the more that we study science, it's inseparable from energy and spirituality, and so they are just one. It's just merging the logical masculine with the feminine, which is the realm of energy. And so we understand something that we innately understand, and it's just a way to articulate that, I guess. That's something that I've dedicated my life to, trying to articulate the things I've experienced and the things in which we all experience. So I appreciate that. That's like a part of my soul's intentions in this lifetime. Let me go ahead and get one of these. Thank you guys so much for your kind words. You guys are really, really sweet. I appreciate seeing that reflection in you. All right, never-ending story. So this is being able to transform your relationship to your own stories. Round and round is something that you're now, okay, so round and round is the fractal nature, okay? It's the holographic construct of this entire system. And so our path of expansion is usually inwards. yet we're now seated at a different coordinate within space-time, a higher level of understanding, to look back at the same circumstance, but as the healed and integrated version of ourselves. And so we can recover, let's say, dimensions and realms of information that were previously inaccessible to the version of self that was viewing it from this myopic, wounded lens, right? When it's like a true wisdom is being able to look back at an experience and it no longer governs your emotional state in the way that it once did. Instead, we're just looking at it through the lens of clarity, right? We're looking at it through the realms of, okay, what was the wisdom encoded within the experience? How was that hearing able to allow me to ascend on my life path? And so this is about transcending almost like the victim archetype and being able to tell yourself more of an empowering story instead of something that overpowers you. So this is, oh, I got to do something or show up for myself now in a way that I wasn't able to do in the past. Let me read 37 for you. So this is self-criticism, wounded ego, and unnecessary dramas. Okay, it talks about, oh, it's really hot. It wasn't hot before. Okay, cool. All right, so it's recovering basically fractals of yourself that are suspended within these timelines that are still playing out the perspective of suffering. They're still experiencing a level of suffering because they have not yet been able to, let's say, evolve their way of thinking or feeling about their relationship to either something or an event that has occurred along their space-time travels. On the stark contrast, there is an eternal aspect of yourself that's untouched by time and unaffected by the events that have occurred, that can see it from the perspective of the soul and understands, I'm hearing like the advanced lessons within that experience and how it actually contributes towards your soul's evolution and is always in benefit for what it is that your eternal aspect is experiencing. So it talks about loving that lost piece of you and preventing it from you seeing it as your true self. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply a voice of the fearful part of yourself that's small and vulnerable and easily soothed. In a relationship, it talks about sometimes your heart enters into a contract with another person that results in pain, not because of abuse or neglect, but for other more complex reasons. Shame, fear of intimacy, and low self-esteem are greatest challenges to the success of a relationship. Consider how valuable this knowledge is. However, right now you have an opportunity for an important healing, but you must reflect on the stories that you weave about love, connection, abandonment, rejection, and loneliness. Not only do you need to begin a new story, you need to forgive yourself for telling yourself the old ones. Have compassion for that part of you who believes all those narratives, for none of them are true anyway. So what I'm seeing it is as, for example, death manifests in many ways in our life, and our vibrational frequency at the time of death is going to dictate the dimensions in which we next access and the realms of experiences that are open to us. When we weave or tell certain stories about our life experiences based upon the past or our point of reference for that, for example, it could be, let's say, in the realms of relationships, I always experience betrayal themes, or I feel like I can't trust people, or I'm always taken advantage of. I'm playing the role of like a victim and someone else is always a perpetrator. Well, both of those positions are positions of weakness. When we transcend that overall archetypal theme, which is also something that usually we've inherited ancestrally from our bloodline and has been modeled to us throughout our bloodline, and weave through patterns of like engineering, right? It's societal conditioning. And we transcend that overall archetype and we say, actually, hurt people. And there's a level of like compassion that you're able to cultivate, not just for yourself, but also another human being, and placing yourself in the shoes of another and understanding that there's something deeper that's going on. Hold on, let me figure out the way to word that that's going to be integratable. We no longer view this through the lens of suffering when we change the way that we're thinking and feeling about this experience. So instead of, why is this person doing this to me? We begin transcending that and we say, what is this person teaching me? What am I teaching myself through the form of another me? What am I inviting myself to do that I never got to do before? We talk about solar plexus themes that could be associated, putting up certain boundaries. It could be about, okay, I'm going to become more empowered inside of the pattern, inside of the experience, and maybe no longer doubt myself. I'm going to actually trust what it is that I'm intuitively picking up on and not doubt that. And the reason I'm saying that is because we literally had Chamiel with solar plexus themes. So this is what someone needs to hear as well. That could be within our own family dynamics. And so that is about being more anchored and confident within your own divinity, not doubting your connection to the divine within, and trusting yourself, right? Not doubting yourself. And I'm hearing that can be a form of sabotage, where we compromise the relationship that we have to ourselves because we're afraid to be the villain in someone's story. So it could be like villain arc, right, type of energy, but then also realizing that every villain has a backstory. And so there's a level of compassion that we do cultivate for these characters regardless, because we understand their inner workings. And again, that's just another form of telepathy, because we will continue to attract the things that we judge until we no longer judge the things that we attract. And so even if we can see the perpetrator as someone who is also victimizing themselves and say, okay, I'm going to transcend this whole, let's say, dimensional layer of this reality where these subconscious agreements play out, and I'm no longer going to renew these subconscious agreements through my participation or my attention, because I'm transcending that entire lesson by vibrating out of resonance of the role of an archetype, of a victim or of a perpetrator, right? That's where you literally evolve beyond the experience, because you're saying, actually, I'm no longer going to participate in this. I just see that all anger stems from weakness, all cruelty springs from weakness, and anger is just fear in disguise. What are the unmet needs of this individual? Everything is an act of love or a call for love. And so when there's strong, exaggerated emotions, they're usually calls for love. And so if we can identify that, the greater the awareness, the greater the freedom. When we recognize, okay, this actually isn't personal, it's just vibrational. I'm choosing to continue participating in this dimensional layer of reality where this lesson is encoded into this field. But if I understand the lesson and I say, okay, I'm integrating the lesson, I can begin to tell myself a new story, and I no longer have to experience this through the lens of pain or suffering, because I'm not here to impart anything or change anyone, but I'm here to transform the relationship that I have with myself and embody that and anchor that. There's that essence there. So someone needs to hear this, okay? Then in prosperity, it talks about fear, envy, procrastination, and greed, and the perception of victimhood could be active in your life at this moment. Are you comparing yourself with others, thinking that their success should be yours? There's also something around ancestrally. I've done a teaching on this. You guys might want to watch it. I think it's on like the main thing on my website. That's coming soon. The main thing of my page, and I talk about, you know, our 1 billion souls. You'll see it in the Transcendent Teachings playlist. It's essentially evolving beyond the overall archetype within our bloodlines, and then we begin to vibrate out of resonance with that and in resonance with our next soul group lessons. And again, those lessons begin to raise in frequency as we raise our own vibrational signature, essentially. So it talks about sometimes we're back to a situation that reminds us of our past. Even if that's financial insecurities that are scaring you, you must learn to love yourself through missteps and sabotaging moments. This was also the main message that was coming through. I know I keep cycling back around to it, but there's something about something unfinished. Our vibrational time at the death of a relationship, a death to a job, a death to our location will dictate what it is that we go on to experience. And so if we can end something from the realm of gratitude of, okay, I'm super grateful, like genuinely, for the lessons that have unfolded, for the opportunity to do something or show up for myself in a way that I wasn't able to do in the past. That's exactly what round and round is. And so if we can end it on that state, then we won't experience a level of karma, which is simply, all right, you'll experience that same energy, that same betrayal theme, maybe in another body, but it will be the exact same energy or system of very limited timelines of creation that would unfold, right? We open ourselves up to new realms of experience by changing our resonance to it. So tell a new story, and success is all but guaranteed. You can do it. You have to stop telling yourself the old story. So yeah, that's what it is. says, not my circus, not my monkeys. So round and round. You've learned something valuable since the last time around, and you got to actually implement that into the system. And that's what healing is. You know, I was asked the other week, is the healing work ever done? And I said something along the lines of, no, it's an ever unfolding journey. It's not that, you know, oh, I've done the shadow work and that's it. No, okay, we bring greater awareness to our patterns, but then we're consistently being given the opportunity to embody the healed expression of ourselves, the higher expression of ourselves, the way that we hold space for ourselves, the way that we hold space for others, to do something consciously in this system that's different from what our unconscious would have done. We're constantly choosing between higher levels of creation and potential, and also, you know, destructive potential in the way that we could react, especially when it comes to anger or resentment, because we never actually are angry or resent another being. We just project where we also resent ourselves from sometimes abandoning our own innermost needs and outsourcing our sense of, you know, comfort or understanding. We truly do not need another being to understand us or bring comfort to us. We are able to become our own source of everything that we seek. And so this is how you become your own sun, how you become your own source. So yeah. Just gonna look through your guys' comments and then we'll probably head out soon. I said, oh, this was gonna be a quick one. Look at us, we're like almost an hour and a half in. Time flies when I'm with you guys, you know. What is time? I'm fascinated by 369, yeah. Life's journey is an endless cycle of infinite untold experiences that our souls go through in the physical realm. Beautifully said. Compassion, literally, forgiveness is the lesson. Yes. And sometimes it's forgiving ourselves for the things that only time would have taught us, right? A lot of the times it is that. And compassion is the river that washes away resentment, grief, or sorrow. You know, if our compassion does not include ourselves, then it's not complete. Compassion becomes the bridge into connection. Yeah. Duality of reality. I love that. Incredible healing technology. Yeah, and each and every single one of you are that healing technology. You have the ability to alchemize your life experiences simply by bringing awareness. By bringing awareness through the perspective of the soul is alchemy at work. Literally, you transform your relationship to your life experiences by just gently saying, okay, two truths can coexist within me because I am a multidimensional being, which means I host both shadow and light. I can feel grief about a circumstance, but also immense levels of gratitude simultaneously. And that's why you guys are a walking paradox. We don't want to fixate onto one or the other, but instead, ideally, we want to be centered. We want to feel the full range of human emotion, but then also place ourselves back in the 0 point where we can hold space for two perspectives to be true simultaneously, right? You guys can hold a different opinion than I, and those truths can be true. Both can be true. And within us as well, we also hold that. God expressing individuality, I love that. Yes, telepathy is a form of quantum entanglement, and it's a skill that we as a species forgot. Yeah. Ultimately, it's when we learn how to read our own field as well. I love your guys' comments. It's so deeply insightful and introspective. You know, everything is so intentional. I love to see it. Thank you guys for your guys' comments are really, really sweet. They're really, really sweet. Your expression of all this knowledge is just beautiful as we all express this in our own ways, each understanding uniquely and then butterflying back in our own ways, relaying the info 100%. That's what I love about going live and also just reading your guys' comments in the playbacks. It's just it's deeply inspiring. The work that you guys do inspires me, and it's so deeply admirable. A lot of healing in our timelines in order to gain a new perspective, lessons, and remembrance for the next phase of our journey. Yes, Yen. Precisely. I'm gathering into my cells, forgetting who I thought I was. Yes. And we realize that, it often just is a shell of who we are. We create a version of ourselves as a survival mechanism when navigating this matrix, and that's often like personality types, but that's not even our true self, right? That's just an identity or mask that we're wearing. Just like being shy. There's no such thing as being shy. It's just that we've learned to reduce or dim our own light in order to stay safe. That's why many of the times we transcend our overall archetype. I can speak about that as being a Cancer sun, and they say that you grow into like your rising sign as an adult. And so the way that you balance that is by utilizing the opposite sign. So that would be like more Capricorn energy, and you find the dual balance between them, which is being more centered in who you are, being more anchored in who you are. Again, bringing that grounded element. Being receptive. Be the observer. Yes, you are the observer when we just allow ourselves to be. Beautiful comments, guys. Beautiful insights. Best possible outcome. Be a bamboo root. Yeah, alchemy is, ultimately alchemy is just saying, okay, yeah, this happened, but what do I want to do with it? Like, what do I want to think about it? How do I want to feel about it? And again, we get to choose that. We can't control the things that happen in the external stimuli. And much of the things that happen in the external stimuli are designed as a exercise to draw our attention or life force externally outwardly. And the very systems that we judge, or the, let's say the systems that we judge, we constantly renew these subconscious agreements with for them to continue. Like, we feed them through our attention. But when we just say, okay, that's how they are, that's how it operates, as part of the design, it's part of the system, and we neutralize our relationship to it, we're no longer giving life force to it, right? We will no longer attract that into our experience. We actually vibrate our resonance with that being our dominant filter and how we view reality. We're no longer entangled with those systems. I think in terms of people being the universe, creating their own realities and orbiting around each other, coexisting on Earth, getting lost, influenced, or inspired by each other, finding your anchor. Beautifully said. Yeah, that's exactly it. And we are all part of a nucleus of a family. So at the center core of our being, we attract in, through resonance, these networks. And so we all gathered collectively, we exchange information. We send that back to the source, back to our point of origin. And we also vibrate out of resonance when we begin to reinforce new ways of being with certain nucleus of a family. But as that happens, we also simultaneously form new links and new bonds. So we're always exactly where we need to be. It's not even about us entering into new environments ever. New environments collapse around us, collapse around the version of self that we're embodying. So if we can see life in such a way where consciousness in 𝓤𝓪𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓬 in the Emerald Tablets is just time as consciousness traveling into a new event. And so as your consciousness travels into a certain version of yourself, and you streamline a certain level of consciousness into your current archetype, a new space begins to form around you. It's a law of correspondence. Reality begins to reconfigure itself to correspond the version of self that you are anchored into and that you're embodying within the present moment. So it's not even that we're like desiring, or let's say evolving into a version of self, but it's that we are becoming it. We are returning to what's always accessible to us within the field. But we must remember ourselves as very malleable beings, right? We can change that any moment. It's just the consciousness that collapses itself into a very specific archetype. That's what the tarot is. It's just different octaves of consciousness within us. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Twilight Hour. That's the message. I'm gonna get one Magic of the Gathering card for you guys, and then I'll probably hop off here. Yes, you are me, and I am you, and I am another you, and you are another me. Let me see what the theme is. You guys need to know. All right, the theme is the power of words. Of course it is. So this came up recently in my most recent video, the power of words. And it's full circle moment because the North Node is entering into Aquarius. Do you guys recognize what this is? This is like the Ganymede energy. So you're a vessel of creation. This is what's flowing through you. It's what you're speaking into creation. This is it's a sexual engine. This, when we talk about sixes, okay, it's portals of creation. And so this is an engine of creation in which you birth a transmission or signal or dialogue between you and the universe into the third dimension, and you cast out a signal that then reality begins to respond to you. This dialogue is sacred because it can alter your trajectory mid-scene. You can literally, I don't think that someone understands the power of this. You can say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going. And you can just exit a circumstance mid-scene. You can say, oh, let's do this. Switching the timeline. You can say, all right, this is authentic to me. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ground and anchor that in. This is everything. You can also feel stuck and feel like no one hears you in this scene. Everything that you say is misunderstood. That's because we should seek to understand even ourselves and not to be understood externally. For in the end, we can only understand people as far as we've met ourselves. And someone can say, I love you with words, but their heart can feel so distant. Because if we have not yet been seated in the stillness of our own heart and the eternal now, how can another being ever be seated here within presence with your soul when they have not yet been seated within the presence of their own soul just yet? I'm seeing external noises being too much to listen to that voice within. Yes, why music and songwriting is such a strong expression to share. Exactly. Exit mid-scene, yes. No such a powerful thing. You know, sometimes this chakra, solar plexus, is about no. It's about boundaries. It's about saying, okay, it's having a level of precognitive abilities of, if I say yes to this thing, this would be the most likely sequence of events to unfold. And if I say no to this thing, this would be the most likely sequence of events to unfold. What is most authentic to my character? Synchronicity live in motion. I'd love to hear that. Yeah. Sometimes you have to give ourselves, there is power in the pause. Don't forget that. Each and every one of you, there is power in the pause. Pause in the present moment and decide how you choose to respond to the external. That's the solar plexus. So I'm probably gonna love an Eevee right there so I can go and see if I get this video edited out to you today. The unified field is the field of Lemurian technology. Yeah. It's the divine feminine. Grand rising, everyone. Let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from, what's your coordinates within space-time, within the planet Earth. What time is it where you guys are? Always choose your highest timeline, especially if it's hard. Yes, Evan, Walter, 100%. What's familiar and what is aligned isn't always the same. And often we will revert to what's familiar, but it's very limited in the timeline or range of experiences compared to what's actually available to us. Australia, 11:30 p.m. Wow. Germany, 3:30 p.m. Los Angeles, 6:30 a.m. Alexandria, Florida, 9:30. Thank you so much, Aladdin's, for your super sticker. May the energy that you sent out return to you tenfold, collapsing into reality through all forms of abundance. Thank you so much. You deeply appreciated. NorCal, I think it's 4:30 somewhere. I think it's 4:30 somewhere. It's like 8:30 where I am, 31 now. New York, USA, 9:30. Illinois, 8:30 a.m. Wow, Chicago, 8:30 a.m. 6:30 something. 6:31, California, 6:31. Yeah, wow. Texas, 8:30. Great Falls, Montana. Is that Montana? 7:30. 9:30. South Africa, 3:30. Hawaii is 3:30 a.m. Wow. North Carolina, 6:31 a.m. Wow. You guys are active. I love to see it. UK is 2:30. Soda secret, matter is nothing when light disappears, the inner light in which we see. All right, I'm going to get one last message and then I'm going to go. I want to get a message for August. I said I was going to do that, right? What's your advice throughout August? And the reason I'm getting this is because it's eclipse season. I'm hearing your advice is surrounding what's going to be revealed to you. This is a full circle moment for whoever said Big Bang. I don't remember who said it. Big Bang and black hole. There is an immense, okay, so you know how we said photons are being released? Photons are carriers of information, light waves emitted from plasma, which is going to be the solar eclipse event. Photon is actually a really positive electrical charge. That's what it says in this deck. Big Bang is, of course, the birth of a new universe. So it's some kind of interruption, some kind of explosion that births something entirely new. And it also talks about being able to be seen throughout the naked eye. Now, black hole is about an immense amount of energy, but I believe it also talks about energy exchanges. I'm going to see real quick. And they're two B's, so 2 is going to be significant. Black hole talks about healthy limits. So at the interior of a black hole is a concentration of mass so large and dense that nothing can escape from it. No material particle, not even light. They prevent the passage of light and even absorb it. They also signify the death of a massive star. If you're close to a black hole or find yourself within one, take time to reconnect with your inner light. So again, if there are events that are quite abrupt or let's just say interruptive throughout the month of August, take time to turn inwards and redirect your focus away from the matrix and recenter it internally. Then you're no longer just inside the dream of physical reality, but you are awake inside of the dream, all right? No person or thing should be able to cut off your light flow or absorb it to the point of leaving you in complete darkness. So disconnection from your own divinity or pulling you away from your full human potential of what the soul looks like fully embodied in physical form. This curious phenomenon of the universe is so dense that it does not allow anyone in its light to shine, in its vicinity to shine. We can keep investigating and learning about it, but we should always maintain a healthy distance so that it does not absorb us. Work within healthy limits. It can also refer to a project that you could be working on or a concrete process. There's going to be a powerful new start. This was like redirection of life force in the month of August being huge for you. This is a highly positive and everything will be channeled into this project. At this point, the black hole attracts so much energy that it's positive. Even so, it's important in whichever case to work within healthy limits so that the project itself does not exhaust you too. It's so powerful that we should remember to treat it with the respect that it deserves. So redirection of life force. Something, again, may be blowing. It could be, like, I don't want to say cutting access because nothing is ever eliminated, but it just feels like a redistribution, like something being redistributed. So this talks about expansion, expansion, expansion. It took a powerful movement to make way for the creation of everything that is. But how much beauty came out of it? It's the largest expansion we've ever experienced. The Big Bang is the origin, the beginning, a new start, opening, life and creation, but requires a huge previous explosion to start it. So all of you should be here, right? Or allow all of you to be here, not suspended in timelines, call all of your life force back to you from entanglements, the matrix, things that have been emotionally charged, technology, call all of you should be here right now. okay, not scattered throughout space-time. Call all of your awareness like golden life force back inside of your vehicle, back inside of your vessel. That way you're not creating from this scattered potential, but you're highly conducive. You're a charged battery pack that's ready to go. So it's not a movement which dances softly, but a learning which develops within us over time. So this is about conductivity, how conducive you are, because the things that flow from you will also hold that same essence. It appears and makes a majestic entrance, so very, extravagant, with a heavy exposure outside of the comfort zone, the known, the already done, and the already existing. It marks the abrupt and sudden page turns, which can be difficult to adapt to. But what does it bring? Expansion, expansion, expansion. So with black hole, there's going to be a couple of things, right? The month of August for your advice is going to be expect for things to shift, like abrupt shifts when it comes to maybe the trajectory of your life, to be honest, and where your energy is going to be redirected towards. That's what this feels like, and you have to trust that, especially if you want to begin something new again with celestial uterus and the high priestess. There's just a different, the relationship that you cultivate with yourself comes with you through every chapter in your life. And the version of self that you have built yourself, and I'm seeing like equipped yourself to be in, and this is something I treasure about my connection with myself. I don't know about you guys, but no matter how dense a situation is that I'm moving through, I always have the ability to zoom out and laugh inside of the experience. And that beauty and that fluidity leads to you just becoming detached. And again, that's probably what I spoke about earlier with my Uranus, like I can be in this world, but just in another world simultaneously. Like you're in this world, but otherworldly. And so you can be in this world, but not be of it. You don't have to be of this world. And that's the beauty of why so many of us are drawn in through resonance with that aspect. You can be in this world and you can possess the gift of moving through space-time and interacting with things through space-time, but don't allow the material plane to possess you or your internal state of being, or I'm hearing hijack the relationship that you have with yourself in Gaia and touching the cosmos and centering yourself within. Yes, Taurus star 333, 100%. And emotions are temporary sensations. So we have the ability to become a conduit, and you can allow yourself to feel the sadness, but you are also a vessel for those mediums or expressions or vibrations to pull through. Emotions are energy in motion. They desire to be redirected. They desire to be alchemized, not fixated onto, where we begin to create an archetype around that sadness. So yeah, you can also see it as play and the perspective of play. So yes, with that being said, my loves, I'm gonna go. And yeah, thank you for joining me here with this live. There were so many of you, and yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful one. I didn't know what it was gonna be about, but it was a very beautiful co-creative exchange, and I always enjoy these interactions immensely. I'll try and hop on live here a lot more. They always bring me such joy. And bye. Yes, Evan already knows how we're gonna sign out. So yeah, if this message finds you, it's not by chance, do consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. We would love to have you around. Personal reading details are also going to be down below on the playback. I'll add that to the description. And what else? Yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you so much, Aladdins, for your super sticker. You're deeply appreciated. I look forward to see what it is. I'm on StreamYard right now, so I want to see what super sticker you picked. But thank you so much for your energy. May the energy that you send out ripple through the cosmos and return back to you on a luminescent wave, carrying abundance, prosperity in forms expected and unexpected, collapsing into reality through opportunities and partnerships and beautiful new timelines of experience and realms of possibility available for you, collapsing into materialized form that are already encoded into your field. Thank you so, so much. And yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you. You're deeply, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much, Aladdins. I hope I'm saying your name okay. Grand Risings. Aladdin's over here showing you the world. Yeah. On the magic carpet ride, right? Yeah. Let me just make sure I look through these comments, and I'm gonna go. I appreciate you guys. It always lifts my spirits to see you. True, so much love and energy. Yes, yes, yes. New Jersey, 9:40 a.m. Yes. Alice in Wonderland, very much so. Okay. Thank you, Leonella. I'm gonna make you a mod if that's okay. I don't know if I can do it on here. I'm gonna have to do it on the playback there. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful Thursday, the rest of your Thursday. And yeah, I hope to be on here real soon. Oh, how do I turn? Okay. Again, maybe on Sunday. Let's see. And yes, I never really want to go when I'm going, but I know that I kind of have to go. Thank you so much for your kind words. And until next time, bye.